I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Good morning, and I want to thank everyone. Certainly want to thank the members of E&A, Councilman Lomenico, President of the Common Council, Mike Galimi, along with our great City Comptroller, along with Dave Short, our Commissioner. And I want to thank Councilman Celeste and anyone who's certainly listening. As well, we're aware this has been a historic event for America, for the state, for the county, for the city. This pandemic has changed the way we look at life, the way we interact, and how we are going to navigate through this. And one thing that before I get into the budget itself, I just want to take a moment and acknowledge when we have times that we're going through and we talk about essential workers and how sometimes we don't realize some of the workers out there, how they influence and shape our way of life. So I want to take a moment just to thank some of the essential workers, our nurses, our doctors, the drivers, truck drivers,
has joined the meeting.
Our police, our fire, the grocery workers, everyone who is taking the time, the energy, and the human element to get through this pandemic. I also want to acknowledge all the people who have lost their loved ones during this pandemic. And the ones who have endured the suffering during this tremendous pain of the COVID-19. It's been tough. And in saying it's tough, I am very lucky and honored to have a great staff. Because we started working and understanding the impact of this in the end of February. And we made the strides that we had to make. So, given the challenging and unprecedented nature of 2020, my administration top priority was to protect the physical health of our city. Hundreds of thousands of people have died due to the coronavirus pandemic, and millions are experiencing economic hardship. State and local government are not immune to the negative physical impacts of the pandemic, and my administration, in collaboration with our city comptroller, Bill Morehouse, members of the Common Council, we took following these proactive and necessary actions. As I said from the beginning, we reduced spending on daily operations. We decreased major capital purchases by 75%. Instituted a hiring freeze on all vacant positions. Temporarily eliminated 80% of our part-time workers. Reduced non-essential overtime. Reduced salary for several of our part-time employees. We sought voluntary furloughs for certain full-time positions, and we issued an early retirement incentive for our CSAA workers and non-union employees. As a result, facts speak for themselves. Our 8th consecutive budget surplus that stands extremely strong for the administration and the department heads and all city employees. However, when you look at the goal, and the Government Finance Officers Association, which is really the abbreviations for GFOA, recommends $12 million for a fund balance given the size of Utica's budget. Our fund balance has grown from a negative, let me just say that, negative $15,000 in 2012. Try to wrap your hands around that a little bit. Negative $15,000 in 2012 when this administration took over, to where we are today of $8 million. It's the highest level and decades. We have made tremendous progress, but we're not yet at our goal. While the city had to make some difficult budget decisions, we also had to be responsible to assist our businesses, our homeowners and renters who are negatively impacted by the pandemic. The city's economic development staff, governed by, once again, a great department leader, Brian Thomas, we took and crafted plans which allocated $300,000 to 33 existing businesses within the city, as well as providing $1 million to residents impacted by the pandemic to help pay for their rent and their mortgages. The key growth and the prosperity is for the city to build on its accomplishments of extending our tax base, which I think we've shown over the years we've done. Increasing our sales tax revenue, effectively marketing and selling city-owned properties to private developers, as well as continuing the transformative economic development that's been occurring prior to the pandemic. And we continue to grow within the pandemic. Despite the pandemic, our sales tax is rising. You can look at it by the chart, 2012, 13 to where we are right now. Once again, I have to give the accolades to my department because, as I said to everyone, the only thing we have to offer is service, and we have to do it better than anybody else. And we have to make a reason for an investor to want to invest in the city of Utica, because at the end of the day, they want return on their investment. So major projects in our city which are moving forward, such as our downtown medical campus, the development of an exciting harbor project, which will be a destination for all, the new fitness mill. That's a component, the new fitness mill. But that is just saying that one building. It's going to have alongside of it multiple other businesses that are coming in to create that sales tax and exposure on Oriskany Street that we've been looking for. 150 unit housing in Globe Mills in West Utica, a 60 unit housing project in a Lower East Side starting line apartments, and the redevelopment right over here at the former Utica Steam Cotton Factory in our downtown area. Like any great city, you have to keep up and giving people a reason to invest. And we have done that. The city's moving forward on a major initiative, the purchasing of our streetlights from National Grid. Nearly 3/4 of the city streets have been converted to LED. The remaining will be done in this spring, 2021. This project will save the city money while upgrading our infrastructure and reducing the greenhouse emissions. Due to our conservative and strategic budgeting, the city maintained its financial position despite the pandemic. Over the past several years, Fitch Ratings, Moody's, Standard & Poor's Global Ratings have all upgraded our city. Going back 2012, this administration took over. All three were downgraded. Not only did we not have economic development, we were downgraded and we had a negative fund balance. I just want to put that in perspective to where we are today. And the pandemic is as crucial as it's been. This administration, with the great workers that we have excelled. The city's credit rating is upgraded, as we talked about. First time in 30 years that Standard & Poor's has given us an A. We've been upgraded to Moody's. Our track record and credibility of administration improving the finance of Utica is strong among experts among the financial community. For the 10th consecutive year, I'm proposing a fiscally responsible budget which will provide the service, and the resources needed to continue our economic growth. 2008 and 2009, the budget was $66.8 million. 2008, 2009. Let's bring it up to this year. My proposed budget for 2021-22 is $72.7 million. That's less than 1% of an increase annually over 13 years. I'd like to see any other municipality, government, any private sector that's doing that and still providing the services we are. And to break it down even farther, the difference between last year's budget and this year's, it's roughly $200,000. Still providing the best service that we have. Our police and our fire, our codes are the best. Our DPW, we reduced them by roughly 45 employees. Dave Short does an outstanding job along with Fred Sperry delivering that great service. So given the increases in mandated costs over the past decade, this is a strong testament to the city's continued fiscal discipline. And again, I've been blessed. I had two great people. I had Pete Ferrillo, who was my budget director, who was outstanding. And then I have now Heather Mowat, who has taken on other responsibilities other than just the budget. She immerses herself, she questions. And again, I am very, very fortunate to have an administrative team along with Sonny Greco, Tracy Mills, and Heather that continually are looking out for the best interests, not only for myself, but for the entire city. So we look at this each and every year, but I think it's really important that the residents understand, what's the breakdown of the budget? Where does it go? How does it go? And you can see it right there. Anytime in any municipality, public safety is going to take up the lion's share of it, and it should be. It breaks it down, police 38%, fire 28%, DPW, parks, and our street lighting is 13%, and all other is roughly 21%. You break that down over the dollar bill, so it really, you got to keep it simple for everyone to understand. I know we deal with this day in and day out. We understand it. The everyday resident that's going to be seeing this, reading it, hearing it, fully doesn't understand. Approximately 90% of every dollar in the city of Utica's budget is committed to a mandated and contractual expenses. 90%. The discretionary 10% is really broken down into equipment, fuel supplies, road salt, the sidewalk program, very, very little. So when we look at crafting a budget, which we don't do it just in 1 month, we do it throughout the year. You understand you have contractual obligations that you have to meet. And the only way you meet them is we have to continue our economic growth that we've had. That's where our sales tax, that's where the property tax and all the commodities, getting these vacant buildings up and running, make it very imperative to stay up with the expenditures of some of the union contracts that we have. You want a great product, you're going to pay for it. So once again, by working together, we're able to protect the city's finances from the negative physical impact of the pandemic. And I just want to go over I think that people have to understand the relationship that we have on the first floor with Bill Morehouse has made a huge difference. If we look at historically over the years, there was always the infighting. There was never the first floor to the second floor. These are all the elements that if you really want to change the dynamics of a community, you have to work with everyone. That means you work with the federal government to the state government. You work with your local members of the Common Council. You work with the county. By the end of the day, your house, which this is City Hall, where we are, is working with people that have the same passion, the same interest. And I can only say, Bill, I thank you and your staff for being a partner in moving the city forward. As a result, I'm pleased to announce that the 2021 budget that our residents have gone and endured enough pain and suffering, that this year's budget will have no tax increase. No tax increase. In concluding, let's keep Utica moving up in the right direction because we're Utica proud. and we will be the best little city in America. Thank you. So at this time,
Has left the meeting.
we have an option, and I'll leave it up to you, President of the Common Council. You like time to digest it? Granted, your time, along with other members of the ENA. As always, we're open, we're transparent. We look forward to any questions you may have. To our department heads, please funnel them through the mayor's office, and we'll accommodate any questions you may have during this duration of you go through the budget. I just once again want to thank every employee of the city of Utica to giving us the opportunity to fulfill our obligation to provide services to the residents who have come to appreciate, understand it with no tax increases. That's an awful lot, and that's not just from one person. That's everyone working together. So again, I appreciate all the hard work that everybody has put into it each and every year. I appreciate the members of the Common Council, as I do this Board of ENA. So thank you. Thank you. We have any business? Okay.